We've got Lyridon, we've got Al, and we've got Justin. Justin recently enrolled, so this is his first call, I believe. And so we'll hang tight. We'll see if anybody else shows up. But in the meantime, excuse me, what we do on this hot seat call is basically is, anybody who wants to talk, you share a win. We have a structure, share a win from the previous week. It does not, and you tell us what you are currently working on this week, and then you ask any questions you have. Lyridon, Al, Justin, anybody want to volunteer and do a hot seat? And we'll see if other people pop on. We had I can't remember if it was Tuesday or Thursday. We had quite a few people, so we may be a little bit slower tonight because we had a lot of people on the last call or the call before that. I can't remember which one. Anyone want to volunteer? Step up. Lyridon, Al, Justin, don't be shy.
I'm not at my original location, so my internet is not that good. But because I can already see the video that you're streaming is kind of blurring out for me. So if you can hear me, fine. If not,
okay, it's cool, man. I can hear you. What's a win?
All right. So the win was I posted yesterday on your group.
That was a great win. Yep.
I had an ad call with Justin, and he with Steve. Sorry.
Yep.
And he requested that I create multiple ad sets using the first interest in the target, repeating the same interest but adding an additional interest to each one. So I created five ad sets, and then about the same product, and the results started coming in. It was kind of nice seeing it.
So basically, we took the ad set, and then when you would create the new ad sets, would you do suggestions to get it, or did you just pick something?
Yeah, for example, new parents was always the first one for each ad set.
Okay.
And the additional interest, I would search for different stores, online stores that those products would sell.
Okay. So you targeted retail brands that would sell that type of product.
Correct.
And then you would target a different brand in every ad set?
No, that was one. Another one was I targeted bestsellers, books. Another one I targeted magazines.
Okay. How many then? Like just one interest or a bunch?
Well, I try to reach when it reached 1.5 to 2 million. Once I reached that, I stopped.
Okay, cool. So then yes, you had only spent 25 and had over 100 in sales.
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool. No, that's nice. So it's good to see. And plus, they're only $5 ad sets, right?
Yeah, with one. Yeah. Then I moved 1 to 10 recently, but yeah, they were $5 ad sets. And
Right,
this is. Go ahead. Sorry.
Be careful if you change the ad set. If we talked about that with Lou on a previous call. I don't know if you remember, he had done that. He had changed the ad set itself versus duplicating it, and it didn't perform well. And then he duplicated it to a higher budget, and then it performed well.
So that's how you're supposed to do it. You not change the price on it.
Well, so again, depends who tells you, right? I never like to say like yes or no, but the way I like to do it is, the way I look at it is if something is doing well and it's learning, once you increase that budget, then Facebook kind of goes to work again trying to figure out what's going on. So just duplicate it. And if you want, you can even change the age by a year or two. So like if you're targeting 18 to 65, maybe you target 19 to 65, right? Or something like that. And then you do it at a higher budget. So Lou, in his case, I remember the ad set had like 3 sales, but then he had like 3 days without a sale. But I explained on that call, it's because the ad set was it was a $5 ad set, right? Which lends itself to tons of variance because it's such a small amount to spend each day.
Okay.
Actually, the example I use, if you remember, it's like if you were to go outside every day,
Right.
you just take one free throw, one basketball shot. Maybe you make it, maybe you miss it. That's the $5 ad set. So, yeah, if you have something, just duplicate it at $10 or 15 or 20, 25, and then assess it. Give it some time, and that's probably going to be better because if the $5 one is making sales, I'd rather just leave that and then duplicate.
Got it.
But even so that was a good yesterday. So the thing is, keep in mind is that it may fluctuate day to day again because they're $5 ad sets. But at least you have 5 of them to hopefully kind of,
Yeah, like today, it's not doing as well as yesterday, but I am getting initiated checkouts.
Yeah, and you have some time. So you may see one of those spikes. Sometimes you'll see that like at 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. you get like 3 sales. Like you just, so but again, you can't, it's going to be one of those things where no 2 days are going to be the same, especially at that budget level.
Right.
So, but good, man, you're on the right path. Did you have any specific questions related to that or something else?
Not related to that, but I don't want to take other people's times, but I do have a product that I posted. I started a campaign yesterday, and I know you say don't fall in love with the product.
You fell in love.
I don't know if I fell in love, but it's a custom. It's a print on demand.
Okay.
I kind of thought of it myself, and then I had a Fiverr designer make it for me.
There you go.
And
all right.
So I started a campaign on it yesterday, but I'm not getting a lot of it's cheap traffic, but I'm not getting links or content viewed. I don't know if my targeting is off. Something is off.
All right, so
I can send you a link to the product. You can see it.
Send me a link to the product right now on this call in the chat, private link, and this is helpful because others will kind of benefit from me kind of giving some feedback, even if I don't give the specific product. So Lou, I think you just popped in, or anybody else, what Lyridon is saying, he's testing a new product, which he loves. It's actually a print-on-demand product, but he can't seem to get it's only run for, a day?
Yeah, it's the second day today.
Very small amount of time, but you aren't seeing the metrics that you want.
Correct.
Yeah, send me a link.
Here, doing it right now. Done.
All right, let me click and see. So you came up with this phrase yourself?
Yeah, I don't know. One day I was messing up. I was just thinking some stuff.
Yeah. Okay, some initial thoughts. Is the person that you used as the model, and keep in mind, everybody else, I'm looking at a product right now. It's of a t-shirt, print-on-demand t-shirt, and giving feedback. So without actually saying what it is. So is the person wearing it indicative of who would buy it?
Well, I'm using a Printful.
Yeah. So I'm just saying because the model has certain, not that it matters either way.
What you're saying.
So like it's gonna, the person you use is, people are gonna see themselves like, okay, is this me, right? Like so, like if you're running, okay, so let's say this. Think of yoga pants. This is gonna be helpful for everybody. Yoga pants, right? Very simple. Like think you target somebody for yoga pants, but let's say you're targeting kind of the, I forget what they call it. What I'm talking about? Like that are bigger sizes. What do they call that?
Plus size.
What is it?
Plus size.
Yeah, maybe it's that. Maybe plus size. So like if you're trying to target that with your audience, right? That there's no congruency there. You have this like, really petite, girl in yoga class, right? And you're targeting the plus size market. It just doesn't match. So what I'm saying here is that make sure that this model that's wearing the shirt in your image reflects who you're running your ads to. because that was the first thing that stood out to me is, um, I don't know if that's the case. Secondly, who are you targeting, man? This would be a pretty unique targeting. So can I kind of tell people, maybe we can get some ideas, kind of what it is without telling them what the design is.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Okay, so it's like it's kind of a shirt about people who like to sleep, but there's like a pun. It's like a pun. So um, Al, Justin, Lou, if you guys want to chime in the chat, if you were trying to talk to somebody who likes humor about sleeping in and maybe a little bit of tongue in cheek, little sexual humor with it, who would you target? And Laird, I'm curious, who are you targeting?
I did send it to support, but yeah, I think my targeting is wrong because what I did is what I Google searched online stores that would sell print on demand that people buy from. Okay. And then I searched those stores and they sell all kinds of stuff and they have a lot of members. That's what I think. I didn't target the right people or.
Yeah. So like I see this and like, honestly, there's probably interest about sleeping, but I think of like targeting like, like Will Ferrell, like that type of stuff, like people that are into like that kind of like, kind of like humor. Um, like he's the guy that popped in my head. Like, like not Dumb and Dumber. What's that movie called? Is it called Brothers with him and the other guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that kind of humor. Like that's kind of who I pictured.
Step Brothers, yeah.
Step Brothers, yeah. Like that's the kind of humor I thought of. But I don't think you can just target
anybody.
I mean, you can. It appeals to a broad market, but I think you're better off trying to make it fit somebody, a certain audience. Also it's like, somebody who really enjoys their sleep. So there's going to be interest like that. So are you even getting people that click at all?
Well, I got one earlier before I click on this call.
Okay. So Al says Step Brothers, College Humor, National Lampoon. Yeah, that's kind of like, I mean, I think it's a good idea. So those two takeaways, man, we'll move on. But those two takeaways would be me, the model, and the targeting.
Okay. Do you have any problems with the product?
Not beyond the fact of trying to pinpoint who you're going to target. I mean, I think it's funny. I mean, it wouldn't be something I would buy, but I mean, that just doesn't fit me, right? So,
right. Got it.
I mean, I think it would be, I mean, it's one of those, it's almost like a condescending thing too, where like you're kind of poking fun at yourself. So there's definitely going to be a specific type of market, but try some different things. If you don't get traction with it, then, move on. But I mean, I think it's great that you're taking the time to come up with ideas like that. So keep that up.
Got it.
Yeah, it sounds to me like without actually seeing the design, that it's kind of more of a kind of a lowbrow kind of, if you know what I mean, kind of a lowbrow kind of comedic saying that might be a little more adult oriented kind of humor when you're talking kind of a little kind of sexual oriented a little bit, and kind of, so I'm thinking about like with comedy, if there's that kind of aspect, think about comedians who might be good with that, or some movies that might go like that. When you mentioned Will Ferrell, maybe things like fans of like Hot Tub Time Machine, or some of those kind of movies that would fit in that kind of vein of humor, or like Super Troopers, or something where it's does that make sense?
Yeah, I think Justin may have nailed it. Justin contributing right away on his first call. So Justin said Spencer's, which is great because they have all that stuff, kind of edgy type shirts and stuff like that. So write that down, man. Spencer's is a good one.
I did.
And Al had a good one too. Al had a LAD Bible, which is a good one as well. So definitely note these down. These are some good ones. I really like Justin's. I didn't think about that one, but that is definitely the type of shirt that would be in that store. And just to get, Lyradon said he's cool with me sharing it. I'm not going to share the exact thing, but it's basically something about, you know, I'm good in bed, and then it kind of transitions to because I like to sleep a lot. But it's not. It doesn't say it just like that. But that's the pun, right? Like it starts out with kind of a sexual I'm good in bed, but then it actually transitions to because I like to sleep a lot, you know. So, yeah, I think Spencer's would be a good one to try. LAD Bible, yeah, get like kind of the bro, you know, that kind of funny crowd. I would go for that.
Dude Perfect would be a good one to check out too.
Dude Perfect, yep, that's a good one.
Awesome.
All right,
awesome.
cool.
Man, this was good. Thank you.
Yep, and keep it up, man. I'm glad that you had that good day yesterday, man. Isn't that funny how you can just do something and boom, you have $100 day. It just happened out of nowhere. So keep that up.
Thank you.
All right, Lisa popped in. Lisa, what's up? Lou, Justin, or Al said he can't talk. Al, if you have questions, feel free to chime in the chat. Justin or Lou, do either of y'all want to do a hot seat?
Yeah, I'll do one. Something that's been kind of weighing down on my mind here in the past couple of days.
We got to start out. We got to go with structure, man. So what's your win from the past 7 days, business or life?
Business has been, I don't know if I call it a win, but it's been kind of on an even keel a little bit. Haven't been really seeing any significant gains, but have also not been seeing any kind of losses. You know what I mean? Looking at the metrics and the data, and some of it kind of makes your head spin when you look at things from a day to 7 days to 14 days and trying to look at the trends and figure out where you need to kind of adjust things. And some of the products have been doing above average. Some of them have been doing a little bit below average, and some have been kind of doing break even. So all in all, it's been not too bad. On the win side, I will say is that I've had a couple of very good customer service experiences. Had people call the customer service line, which is basically a second cell phone that I have, and have contacted me about, you know, saying, hey, I you know, had a particular question about this. Is there a variant? I'm really excited to know a friend who got this, and that's how I'm getting in touch with you because I want one. But I wanted to know if there's like a, you know, something different from what I saw, or also just somebody who had actually ordered the wrong product, the wrong variant, and had contacted me, and it was after hours, but I got in touch with them. It was like 9 o'clock at night, and got in touch with them, and they were super ecstatic about the level of customer service that I provided to them by getting in touch back with them, actually getting in touch with them on my own personally, letting them know that the owner was talking to them and said, man, your customer service is fantastic with you getting in touch with me and talking to me about these things. And, you know, I'm going to make sure I leave a real positive review on the back end. So that was probably the big win for the week, was the customer service experience I had with dealing with some of those issues that turned into positives that could have been negatives if they had not been handled correctly.
Cool. Yeah, and just so everybody knows, me and Lou did a case study interview yesterday. And yeah, it was yesterday, right, Lou?
Yes, sir.
Yep. And we'll be releasing that soon. Lou basically shared his experience of doing this stuff for like a year on his own, and then in like 6 weeks with us. It was pretty cool to see the transition. So we'll share that. But Lou, why don't you share what you were going to say before we talked about the wins? I don't know if it was a question or a thought. Go ahead.
I've been going back and just kind of looking at all my data and the spreadsheets that I have with the return on ad spend and the profit margins. And something that kind of dismayed me a little bit is I'd gone through and set up with where all of my merchant fees come into effect. I'm a little bit of maybe a different, maybe a bit of an exception from other people. Now, when I first started, I was selling some products that eventually got flagged by Shopify, and they suspended my credit card merchant account because I won't get into the details. It was totally bogus, but they said that I was selling prohibited / and or dangerous items, which isn't the case.
Yeah, I remember you told us that.
Yeah, and it was just ridiculous. It was ridiculous, and so I had to wind up going through an outside credit card merchant that would take me, and the downside to it is that there's monthly fees and things like that that I have to pay, and so on and so forth, that you wouldn't have had with if you just went with the Stripe. I've since remedied that situation, but the problem that I have is I'm locked into a 1-year basically contract with who I'm with now, until I can break that and go back to Stripe. So in October, I'll be able to go back to Stripe and save myself a ton of money. But I've been looking at the fees and the everybody's slice of the pie that they take from like PayPal, and Shopify still takes their slice of the pie, even though I'm not using Stripe. And then I'm using Authorize.net on who I'm using for the credit card merchants. And I added it all up here just the other day, and it's like $150 is what I'm paying per month on these different fees, depending upon how many sales I make and so forth. So I looked it up for where I'm at the month to date, and for where it was like 48 transactions that had taken place. I divided it, just averaged it between all the transactions, and it was like $3.68 per transaction that all these people were taking as their cut from each sale. So you look at the ROAS and what your profit margin is just based upon your sales, not taking into account all the slices of the pie that everybody puts their fingers into. And it was an additional almost $4 per sale that I was paying in fees on the back end. And so
Okay.
if I looked at that and started kind of doing the numbers on where the profit margins were, those things got a whole lot smaller once you factored in, and it's just average it across the board, across, 50 sales, depending upon the different products I was offering across the board, averaged out to about $3 and I think it was 86 cents per sale extra. And that makes a big difference on the back end when you look at where your numbers are, because almost $4 per sale is like it's a big number.
Let's talk about it, because I've made some notes here. All right. So there's a few things I want you to keep in mind, and I want to make sure I understand here correctly. So number one is the whatever contract you're locked into ends in October, you said, right?
Yes.
All right, and it ends in October. So what portion of that is of that 380 or whatever you were talking about?
Well, it'll vary depending upon the number of sales that go through, like the number of credit card sales.
Okay.
That varies.
So here's what I want you to do if you haven't. Figure out, this really isn't that important, but if you want to look at it, figure out what it's going to be. Take an app, say you make 100 sales on with Stripe and 100 sales with what this other one is you're paying for, and figure out what that the difference in fees would be.
And I have, and it would definitely be cheaper with Stripe because they just do a straight across.
How much cheaper?
Like 2 point something %. As with Authorize.net, they do a even if you don't make a single credit card sale with them, it's still about $40 a month just for the privilege of being able to use them. And then
so that'll help. Second of all, fees on sales I look at them like taxes, right? Nobody likes them, but the more you pay, the more you're selling, right? So rather than the mindset is basically trying to, like a lot of people, to avoid taxes, which you can, it's almost a blessing, right? So it's like, okay, I'm making sales, I have to pay these fees. So then what can I do? How can I get creative, right? How can I get creative in writing off things for my taxes? How can I get creative in basically making up for these fees I'm paying? So if you think of it like that, then you basically start trying to account for it, right? So you know that you're paying an extra $3.80 something cents, $4, whatever it is. And one of those reasons will be wiped out in October, which is fine. So one thing you want to do is account for it, and you can account for that by either setting your targets for your CPA a little bit higher or lower, however you want to look at it, as far as your target return on ad spend, to basically take into account the fees. That's one thing you can do. Two is you can think of, hey, how do I make an extra $3.50, $4 per customer, right? And that's what I would rather you do. Leads me to my next point, is understanding that we want to teach you how to view this long term, and not basically like everybody else teaches, which is basically, overnight. I'd rather you think to yourself, what can I do to basically maximize? I'm getting sales, right? What can I do to maximize that? Maybe that's, dialing in some email sequences on the back end to upsell people. We can help you with that. Just, let us know. We can, with like a post-purchase sequence. Maybe we were actually talking about this in our Slack group, our Slack team group. There are apps. The one I think I shared was called Reconvert. It's basically a post-purchase app. Right when somebody buys, I used to use one like this, but then it discontinued. But right when somebody buys, they get a pop-up, and it gives them a special code that's good for 20 minutes where they get a percentage off of anything they buy in your store. And something like that, if you get, let's say, 7, 8, 10% of people who use that, well, then now you're maximizing your return on your ad spend even more. If you combine that with some email, well, then, things start to kind of, you could also look at, maybe increasing your price a little bit here and there, maybe some shipping here and there, things like that. But the big thing is to basically, just account for it and think long-term of, most businesses, most like really successful e-commerce stores, like I'm talking big ones, are okay not actually profiting on their initial sale, right? Because they understand the long game of customers and emails and this and that. Now, I'm not saying to think like that. It'd be great for you to continue to profit on the front end, but the solutions to that are many, as far as emails, apps to upsell, decreasing fees, which will happen in October, and adjusting your target CPAs to account for it. And then just overall, just accounting for it and having that long-term perspective. So that's my feedback on that. You're getting sales, which is good, and for the most part, pretty positive. Just some things that you can improve to kind of offset that extra expense, especially until October. Make sense? Lou, you still with me? All right, I'm not sure if he stepped out or what.
Surely not in the answer. Maybe he dropped out, but it's on the recording.
Yeah. So Lou, if you got a chance to hear that, just chime in and let us know. Or maybe it looks like he's muted. Maybe that's why. Okay. Well, Lou, Al liked the advice, which was good. Lou, go ahead.
I don't know what happened there. It kind of went crazy. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for that input. Because I was thinking about maybe I needed to increase the initial price of the products up front to help compensate for that. But you're saying try to find ways to get the AOV on the back end, maybe?
Maybe you do both. I mean, the thing is, man, is it's a good problem to have. I mean, it really is. So, if you're paying, too many fees on your sales, you're like, man, I've got all these sales and I'm paying too much in fees. Like there's worse problems to have in this business. So let's focus on, whether we try and offset that on the back end after somebody buys or before they buy, or maybe you don't change anything. You just change your target CPA and you just watch ad sets a little bit closer. But I'm certain you can make that back with a good post-purchase email sequence that you get a percentage of people to take you up on. One of the best ones I covered it when I was featured by Drip Scripts. And basically, you may have seen that one. It's just a quick sequence about, hey, before we ship your order, do you want to add anything else? And even if it's not coming from the same vendor, they never really care. But it's like, hey, before we ship your order, do you want to add something else? We'll give you 20% off. It's like, and then it's like a countdown. It's like, hey, we're shipping, just want to let you know this is the last chance to get 20% off before we send your order. Something like that, or the reconvert on the end. But come October, you'll automatically lower it anyway. But I hear you. I just think that this is something that we could work to alleviate and wouldn't be a second thought for you.
All right. Thanks for that.
All right, man. All right. So, all right. George is here. George, if you want to chime in. Justin, I see you on webcam now. What's up, man? Welcome. Looks like you got a little one there. That's always fun. You want to chime in, man, or you just want to hang out? You're unmuted now. You there?
Yeah. This is our 5-month-old little baby Mila.
Awesome, man. Adorable.
I'm on baby duty while Mama's cooking dinner over here. So
that sounds like a good trade to me, man.
Oh, yeah.
So what's going on? So I forgot you did First Look, right? So you've been in the community for like a little bit.
A couple days, yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was thinking you just got inside today. All right. Okay, cool. So I don't know, man, if you want to, I know it's probably too early to ask any questions or anything, but if you want to just tell everybody a bit about, yourself and anything like that, feel free.
I mean, sure. I guess basically I've been kind of looking into drop shipping for a couple months now. And I started doing some drop shipping on Amazon, and it was just really difficult it's kind of difficult to get traffic to find products that Amazon would actually let you sell and stuff like that. So that's when I started learning about Shopify. And so I started a Shopify store as well. And I've only had the store for about a week now. But once I started it, I decided to look for trainings and coaching, and just right off the bat, because I knew I wasn't going to be able to figure it out all on my own. And so that's when I stumbled across you and one of your ads, and ended up jumping on a call, and here we are.
Awesome, man. Well, we're glad to have you, man, and we're looking forward to getting you revved up. Call it kind of our fast start plan implementation, get you on. I don't know if you spoke with Lisa yet, but we'll get you on your kickoff call, and then.
Yep. I've got a call scheduled with her. I believe it's Sunday.
Okay, cool.
Set that up earlier.
Store setup, optimization, picking some products out, getting your ads up. It'll be a good time, man. Next 30 days or so.
Yeah, I'm excited, man.
Awesome. Yeah, it's fun, and we're here to help you out. So thanks for introducing yourself.
Absolutely, man.
All right. All right. So Lou had to pop off. We had a question come in though from Al. All right. Al said, with summer on the way, is there anything we should be thinking about changing on our ads for evergreen products? Al, man, elaborate. I don't understand the question. Oh, do people spend less time online? Do you? Al said, no, I work 24/7. All right. So maybe they're maybe not 24/7, but a summer vacation, sure, man, but people vacation all the time. And it's not. Short answer is no. It's not something to where like, I mean, and people are on vacation, man, go on vacation. People are glued to their phones. So if anything, they're in better moods, right? They're probably more likely to buy. So I would not be concerned with that, man. Right? You're sitting on vacation by the pool, scrolling Facebook, right? You'd be more likely to buy something. Yeah, Lisa said people probably spend more time on social media during the holidays. So that's a good point. They're not at work. How'd you like that, Al? Reverse that mindset quick, man. All right. All right. So we chat with Al. George, if you got anything, definitely chime in. We got to meet Justin and his two little ones now. Lyridon, chatted with him, gave him some good feedback. Justin gave him Spencer's.
This is Veda. This is our 5-year-old.
What's her name?
Beta.
Okay. Awesome.
She wanted to know what I was doing over here, so she come over here and sat on my lap.
Who are these strangers you're talking to?
Yeah. Can you wave?
Both very, very adorable, man. Awesome. I think it makes it fun, man. You get to work with the fam. So.
Oh, absolutely. This is my why.
Yep.
Don't yank on it.
We're not making on
All right, guys. Any other questions? Anybody want to ask anything before we sign off? We're doing our E4 Q&A call in like 15 minutes if anybody wants to pop onto that. No biggie either way. One sec. All right, guys. Actually, George did pop in. So Al's got his questions. Awesome. George, no, I have not. Let me look them up right now. Clicky. Like the name. Sounds pretty catchy. All right, must have typed in the wrong thing. George, I don't see like a clicky.com or anything. Do you know what the website is?
Yeah, I'd have to look that up again, Jeremy, because I noticed when I typed in the .com, it didn't come up. But in the Guten channel, they've done a couple of videos on it, and they sort of take a percentage of your product. They advertise it. They don't charge you. And they advertise it on bigger places like New York Post or whatever, and things like that, just bigger media outlets. I'd have to look later after the call, and I'll send you the actual link. I'll dig through the Guten YouTube channel and find it again. I just didn't know whether you'd heard of it at all.
No, I have not, and I can't even find it, man. So if you find anything, definitely shoot it over to me.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool. All right, guys, we'll go ahead and wrap up. Seems like everybody got their questions in. And of course, if you need something, I was telling Leardon this at the beginning of the call. I don't know if anybody else heard, but we're going to start very soon doing themed weekly calls, right? These hot seats and Q&A calls are fun, but I think that the community will benefit a lot more if we have theme calls weekly. So 1 week maybe, Lisa may do a call on productivity or mindset hacks, and then take some questions. 1 week we may do discuss an email sequence you can use and take questions. 1 week we may talk about an ad strategy. I think it's going to be really beneficial, so we can release new content and kind of new strategies weekly, and also take Q&A as well. And it'll always be something new every week to look forward to versus just another hot seat call, another Q&A. All right. So we want to make sure we can engage people and give as much content, relevant content as we can. And then if it's going to be relevant to you, you can attend. And if not, then of course you don't have to attend. So anyways, that's got some exciting stuff in the pipeline for everybody here. But all right, guys, with that said, we will wrap up and talk to you all soon.
Thank you, man. Take care.